Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful framework for leaders, for those who want to stop just managing tasks and start actually building trust and influence. Let's dive right in.
You know, at the end of the day, leadership really isn't about your title or where you sit on some org chart, right? It's all about what you do day in and day out. It's a practice of serving your team so they can do their best work. It's all about those intentional actions, not just the position you hold.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but here's the big question. What does that actually look like? How do we take this big idea of serving people and turn it into something real, something we can use in our next meeting like today? How do we make it practical?
Well, that is exactly where the 5E framework comes into play. See, great leaders build trust. And this framework, it's like a simple, repeatable blueprint to help you do just that. It's all about turning credibility into daily actions your team can actually see and feel.
So, what are these 5Es? Think of it like a path, 5 steps that build on each other. It all starts with connection and clarity, and it ends with creating this unstoppable momentum for your team. And what's cool is that each step is designed to change not just what people do, but how they think.
And these 5 behaviors, they're not just random. They're actually the coaching pillar of something called the whole leader approach. The whole idea here is to build up the whole leader by shaping 3 key things: how your team thinks, how psychologically safe they feel, and, of course, the practical skills they develop. All right, let's jump into the first 2 E's. Now, these 2 work together as a pair: engage and empathy. The whole point of starting here is to calm the brain's natural threat response. That fight or flight feeling? We got to quiet that down before any real effective coaching can even happen.
So, first up, engage. What does that even mean? It's simple, really. It means you always connect with the person first, even if it's just for 30 seconds. You connect before you get into the task. It sets a tone of both high care and high standards right from the get-go.
And a really practical tool for this is something called the ODC. That's outcome, deadline, and clarifiers. Think about it. Ambiguity is a massive source of stress and wasted work. The ODC gets rid of that. It gives people crystal clear expectations. When your team knows exactly what good looks like, they can actually hit the target. Okay, next up is empathy. And let's be super clear here. This isn't about being nice or agreeing with everything. It's about accurate understanding. It's about seeing the whole picture clearly, including the feelings involved, so your coaching actually fits the person and the situation. It's what makes your feedback land.
So how do you show empathy? A super simple but crazy powerful technique is called labeling. All you do is state the emotion you hear. You might say, "Sounds like you're frustrated." That simple act does something amazing. It shows your team they've been heard, which lowers their defenses and opens up the part of their brain that's good at solving problems.
Okay, so we've built a foundation of connection and understanding. Now we can move on to the next pair of E's: equip and empower. This is all about building up your team's actual ability and their confidence to get the job done, and get it done right.
So what's equip? Honestly, it's your fundamental duty as a leader. You have to make sure your people are actually prepared for the work you're asking them to do. And this isn't just about sending them to a training course. No, it's about giving them checklists, clear standards, mentoring, and really importantly, chances to practice. A fantastic tool to help you equip is the 1-3-1 method. Instead of your team just dropping problems on your desk, this method trains them to think more strategically. They have to come to you with 1 problem, 3 possible solutions, and 1 recommendation. It totally shifts them from just spotting problems to actually solving them.
And once your team is equipped, then you can empower them. Empowerment is all about giving people the room to make their own decisions, but, and this is key, within clear boundaries. You're basically swapping out control and micromanagement for genuine, real ownership.
Now this is so important because there's a huge difference between true empowerment and just abdication. That's a classic leadership trap, right? Empowerment isn't just being hands-off and hoping for the best. No way. It's about being hands-on when it comes to coaching on the outcomes, but letting your team own the methods. It's autonomy with guardrails.
So you've engaged with empathy, you've equipped your team, and you've empowered them. But what keeps all of that going? What sustains it? Well, that's the final E, and it's the fuel that keeps this whole engine running: encourage.
And let's be really clear about what this means. This is not about throwing confetti or giving out generic good jobs. It's way more strategic. It's about specifically recognizing the exact behaviors you want to see happen again and again. It's how you fuel resilience and build a team identity that's all about excellence.
So, how do you do it effectively? Well, there are 3 parts. First, it has to be quick. Don't wait for the annual review. Second, it has to be specific. Name the exact behavior you saw. And third, and this is the magic part, tie that behavior to a team value. That reinforces the why behind the work and makes it so much more powerful.
Okay, so we've gone through the whole framework. But the most important question is, how do you make this real? How do you take this from being just an idea in an explainer and actually put it into practice in your very next conversation?
Well, here's a super practical tool. It's a list of 5 simple questions, one for each of the E's. You can use these right away to make your one-on-ones way more effective. This isn't some complex theory. It's a practical tool, like a cheat sheet you can keep in your back pocket to guide your coaching.
And remember that 1-3-1 rule we talked about? This is a perfect example of how to put equip into action. Seriously, the next time someone on your team brings you a problem, just ask them for the 1-3-1. By doing that, you're actively coaching them to develop their own judgment. You're shifting them from just spotting problems to owning the solutions. So, at the end of the day, the 5E framework isn't some big theory you have to memorize. It's a practice. It's something you choose to do every single day. It's just a series of small, intentional choices that over time build up the kind of trust and influence that really defines great leadership. So the only question left is, what will you choose to practice tomorrow?